Hi everyone, this is Hester Bielefeld. This video is for the 2026 update and changes for Medihelp. It's always easier to look at a video rather than working through a brochure, but I do recommend you spend some time on the brochure that's been provided, just getting a better understanding of your current plan. So we're going to go through the increases for 26, which are a pleasant surprise. Summary of changes, the care extender benefits, so you understand what that is, the care programs that are offered, and then finally an invitation to review. Please guys, now's the time to do your upgrades or downgrades and discuss it with me. If you come to me 2 weeks into January or whatever, I'm going to have to say to you, I'm really sorry, you've missed the cutoff and I won't be able to assist. The premium increases were kept low during COVID, but Medihelp unfortunately experienced a sharp rise in claims, and that put pressure on their solvency. Fortunately, they are almost back to the 25% minimum requirement, and the average increase across the plans for 2026 is 8.46%, and that's pretty good. Look for the individual plan increases on the email and the brochure that you received. If you have a late joiner penalty, this will not be included, but there will be an email coming from Medihelp in a few weeks, which will show the full premium for those who are affected. The focus for Medihelp this year is growth and sustainability, and I think that's a good thing for them. Here we have just a summary of all the plans available with the prices. Let's look at the groups of plans as they come in the brochure. And we're going to start with the entry-level plans, which are, let me get my pointer quickly, MedMove and MedMove Student. These are a much cheaper plan. It is very basic, but enough for a student or someone who's just new into the medical aid market. And will certainly give you a cover for someone who's relatively healthy. Medvital Elect are both the network option and the non-network option for the hospital plan, and these are their premiums for the main member. Looking at the more comprehensive plans, MedAid and MedAid Elect, we'll go through them in a bit more detail of the changes at least. Here we're looking at 3,186 for the network option, and MedAid on its own 4,038 for the main member. MedSaver 4,260, and it includes 12,000 rands worth of savings per year, and the MedReach, which is 3,360. This is not a new plan, but it's a renamed plan, and I'll go through that in a bit more detail. Looking at the comprehensive options, MedPrime Elect being the network option, that would be 4,700 odd and 6,790. MedElite, much more comprehensive, 8,922, and for those who can afford it, Med Plus, which it covers just about everything, 15,000 rand, 486 for a main member. There are a number of changes to be aware of, and this video covers the more significant changes, but again, you can find more detail if you go onto the brochures. Right, so we are looking at integrated care, okay, which is integrated care and the preventative benefits. So what they're going to do for next year, they're going to select high-risk members. So if you are high risk for getting high blood pressure or a heart attack or diabetes or anything of that nature, they will actually identify who these people are and actually get in contact with you. And they will also provide a device that you can use that allows you to track with real-time data your health and your statistics. And there will also be coaching support in addition to that. So that's new for next year. Unlimited wound care will be paid from risk. Sorry, that's not wound, it would be wound care paid from risk. And that unlimited is great because if you've got a diabetes and you've got a wound that won't heal up, you do need extra care, wound care for quite some time. It must be pre-authorized though. Okay, prevention benefits, your pap smears and your PSA tests for the gentlemen can be done now at a registered nurse, so at a much cheaper price, and you don't have to use up your savings for that. Care extender benefit, where you do your wellness screenings and that kind of thing, and that's going to unlock double what it did last year of 1,000 Rand per membership, and then you can use that for things from the pharmacy, like over the counter or acute medications and things like that, which is really great. MedReach is the old Med-Elect, so it is a network option, so please be aware of that. There is no non-network MedReach option. It is a network, and it has unlimited in-hospital physio and 4,000 Rand for out-of-hospital physio per family. If we look at MedVital, this is the hospital plan, copay reductions. For example, if you have a hospital shoulder procedure, the copay used to be 17,000 Rand, and it's now come down to 10,000, making it more affordable. And also the expanded cover is things like sinus operations and like for nasal septum defects and hernia procedures. Those kind of things have actually been now included, because these are generally non-prescribed minimum benefit and they are actually being allowed. So please take a look at the brochure of all the procedures that are now part of this MedVital. And then the specialized radiology, that's your PET scans, your MRI scans, your CT scans. The Rand value of these scans has been increased by, on average, 30% across most plans, which is excellent news. And there are no longer different copays for in-hospital and out-of-hospital, the copays, because that was confusing, so they've simplified that. Continuing with the 2026 changes, one of the biggest and most beneficial changes for members is the change to the oncology benefit. Currently, the 3 largest schemes operate their oncology benefit this way, and Medihelp has now followed suit. If you have a prescribed minimum benefit cancer, that's stage 1 or 2A, where it hasn't spread, it's paid in full by risk by all medical schemes. But if it's a non-PMB, once the Rand limit is reached during the 12 months of diagnosis, further claims will be paid by 80% by the scheme and 20% from your pocket, or the cancer benefit if you have it on your gap. So this is an absolutely fabulous enhancement. There are 3 tiers on the cancer care. You have more advanced drugs that have been added that are funded 75% by the medical scheme, and this is capped at 250,000 Rand. Family and child care. There's a frenectomy that will now be available to be done in hospital or under sedation, and there are age limits that apply. This is where they cut the little tag on your tongue so that you can speak better. Maternity benefits included are the normal 10 antenatal or postnatal visits and the antenatal supplements. Okay, Parent Sense, there's an app that guides you through the pregnancy. And then another really big improvement is MediPost, which will now, instead of having to go to various depots, you can get MediPost actually delivered to your home or office from 2026. For some plans, you will no longer have to see a GP first before going to a specialist. Again, that's going to save you money. Please, if you go to a non-network doctor, there will be a 35% co-pay penalty. So please ensure that you do use a DSP doctor if you have to, if a network doctor, if you are in need to do that because of the plan that you're on. Hospital networks have once again been adjusted, and to date the lists have not been made available, but they will publish them and send them on to you and make them available on the website. All right, so it's really important. This is where people get stuck. Okay, so you now suddenly I've got to go and see a specialist. Please check your hospital that you can operate at, and then phone into Medihelp and ask who are the network specialists that operate at those hospitals, and then you can go and see them, because once you've seen a specialist, it's quite hard to then say, no, or sorry, you don't operate at my hospital, so I'm going to go to somebody else. You've already spent all that money and you've probably built a relationship with that person, so this becomes a problem for you. Okay, so rather do it the reverse way around. For optometry, there's a new designated service provider called OptiClear. Please ensure you check this optometrist, check the optometrist on the OptiClear network before making an appointment. Right, just one more change that I want to share with you. They've called this the flexible savings account, and I don't think that's a good name because it doesn't really tell you what it does. But from 2026, you're going to be able to choose whether you want your claim to be paid from your savings or not. Okay, so I think the best way to explain this is to use an example. So let's say you are going in for an operation and you know that there's going to be a gap claim. So rather than the claim coming from your savings, you say don't pay my savings and you wait for the amount to be paid for by gap. So in this way you actually preserve the money in your savings, and you can then, when you get paid by gap cover, you then just pay the provider, the doctor, or whoever it is that you owe. Because unfortunately with Medihelp, you can't put that money back into your savings. So if you do allow it to be paid by savings, then you end up with the money in your bank account and you can't put it back into your savings with Medihelp. So I think it's a much better idea to toggle. The change becomes immediate, so you can toggle it on and off as many times as you want during the year. But I think this is something that will help specifically for people who have quite a few gap claims and that want to preserve their savings. If you haven't done so yet, please register on the Member Zone and also the Medihelp app to get instant access to information. It's actually one of the nicest websites that I use, and I think it'll be very useful for you. Okay, quickly going through just the year-end review, guys. Please, the changes are allowed for 1 Jan each year. As I said, if you don't do it in time, you are going to be very disappointed because I'm not going to be able to assist you. If you think you want to look at an alternative plan for next year, please ensure you contact me early, okay, by mid-November at the very latest, so that we can look at the alternatives, we can go through why you want the changes and does it suit you, and those kind of things, so that it can get implemented before December. If you don't have a gap cover, or you would like to hear more about gap covers, I think they are essential nowadays, please let me know and I can help you out there. So please enjoy the remainder of this year and do your health screenings or wellness tests if not already done, so that you can get the benefits of that. So have a blessed 2020, end of 2025 and into the new year. Take care.